Here is a short presentation on reusing Creative Commons licensed works. The Creative Commons licenses and reuse of content. The Creative Commons license came about in 2001 2002 because Lawrence Lessig and others felt a strong need for works to be copied and reused. The publishers' lobby and other interested parties had always pushed for extending the terms of the copyrights and hence prevented just that. There was a need to introduce ways so that people could share their content easily and also modify and use when necessary. They also wanted to ensure that a priori permissions for using content were built into the licenses. The stress then and now with Creative Commons licenses is of allowing copy and reuse of content and creating a greater pool of resources for developing new content. When we look at reuse of CC licensed works, we can do it in two ways with no modifications or adaptations of the content. So you create a copy and a collection, or with modification and adaptation. So you then create either a derivative or a remix. The licensing aspects depend on which of the above you intend to do. Let us now look at what a collection is. A collection is a group of works that are placed together and which are connected through some logic expressed or otherwise in the collector's mind. In case you are making a collection of several works and not modifying any content, then the individual works in the license should be licensed same as the original. There should be no ambiguity about the licensing of the items in the collection. But what you added to curate the content, be it the cover, the text, images, or whatever else, could be licensed independently with a license of your choice. If reuse of the CC licensed work does not involve modification, that is, you use it as is, the only license you have to be careful about while copying if the content is non-commercial license. While sharing NC content, your use has to be NC or non-commercial. When you're not modifying or adapting content, then you can copy works with any kind of CC license as long as you give attribution and use the same, that means the original license of the works on it, and heed any NC element. If your reuse is to make a collection, then the license you choose for your overall work that includes the collection does not have to reflect the share alike license, even if you have a share alike work in the collection. In a collection, you can even use non derivative materials since you are not creating a derivative or modifying the original work. Here I am sharing a chart from the CC website to help with collections licensing. In case the collection is non-commercial, then any Creative Commons licensed content can be used in the collection, but for collections that are to be commercially published, the licenses that carry non-commercial element may not be incorporated into them. Here, of course, the abbreviations PD, CC, BY, NCSA, and ND are the standard ones that used in the CC licenses. Now the question comes about adaptation, derivative, remix while reusing content. According to Creative Commons, the terms adaptation, derivative, and remix are used interchangeably, they mean the same. While reusing any content, if you modify the content to an extent that it is sufficiently original to be copyrighted, it is called a derivative or adaptation or a remix. Derivatives can be made by modifying the content itself, by adding your own content, or by mixing content from different sources. It can be an adaptation only if the original is not discernible and discrete within the derived work. How you are planning to use and publish the derived work will determine which kind of content carrying which license you can use to modify. In an effort to understand collection versus adaptation, derivative, or remix, let's make a comparison that is best explained through an empirical example. One can't be a true Indian if one did not have a spice box in our kitchens. And usually it's a round box. And it makes the spices handy for throwing into our dishes. This image is of a collection of spices, each pure, not mixed with any other, and individually identifiable. A collection of works would be similar, each distinct and separate. Now let's see what happens when we grind together different spices and we make our curry powders. For example, the garam masala. It has several spices mixed together, and the combination and proportion is unique to each cook and a well kept secret. This would be similar to our adaptations, where each adaptation is unique and individual works that went into the remix are not discernible. The next two slides show you two charts from the Creative Commons website to help with licensing of adapted content. Table number 2 shows a grid of the 2 public domain and the 6 Creative Commons licenses on both axes. This table shows the licenses that are compatible with each other, and hence content with these licenses can be combined and remixed. The ticks are indicative of compatible licenses, while the cross is for incompatible ones. Here you can note that 2 rows are crossed off both vertically and horizontally all through. These, of course, are the non-derivative licenses. This table 3, in this the vertical axis gives the licenses 6cc and 1 PD license on the original content you have chosen, while the horizontal axis gives the permissible license on the adaptations you have made. When the intersection box is green, then it indicates permissible license for adapted content. Where it is grey, it shows that the licenses are not permitted. The yellow boxes show licenses for the modified content that are technically permitted but best avoided, since downstream users of your content may find it confusing. I now present a collection to you. The audio collection is of calls of the barbets. These birds are easily identified by their calls. All the images used in the collection are by me and licensed CC by 4.0. Barbets are medium-sized forest resident species ranging in size from 17 to 33 cm. Some species, like the brown-headed barbet and the coppersmith, are also common on trees in the urban setting. They are green-colored birds, hence difficult to sight between the branches, but it is easy to detect their presence by their typical and fairly loud calls, especially in the breeding season. Barbets are frugivorous birds, that means they eat fruits, but they are also opportunistic eaters of insects and other arthropods. They eat whole fruits, if small, and indigestible materials are regurgitated, and hence they are thought to be important agents of seed dispersal. The calls of the barbets are characteristic, and it is easy to identify them by just their calls. Here is a collection of the calls of the more common of the Indian barbets. I am showing you 6 barbets. The first 3, the brown headed, the coppersmith, and the white cheeked barbet, are found in the plains, while the blue cheeked barbet, the great barbet, and the lineated barbet are found in the Himalayas and the northeast part of India. Though we have 9 different species in India, here we are dealing with only 6. That's the brown-headed barbet you are hearing. Kutru, 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 kutruk. The bird is green and brown with prominent pale streaks. The next species we'll hear is the coppersmith barbet. It has a metallic call, coppersmith, that has been compared to the sound of the coppersmith beating on copper sheets, and it goes tuk, tuk, tuk. They have a red forehead, yellow round eye, and throat, and black eye stripe. This is the most widely distributed species in India. This is the white-cheeked barbet, a little smaller than the brown barbet, and the call is also very similar, but the distribution is very different. This is only found in South India. Now let us look at the blue-throated barbet. The beautiful turquoise blue shines from very far. The call is a tukuruk, tukuruk, which is very fast. They have a red, black, and again red on their forehead. This is a Himalayan species. Now, we have come to the largest barbet, the great barbet. This has a very loud, monotonous call that goes hoo, hoo. We've now come to the lineated barbet. It's a smaller barbet with strong white markings on the head and the front. The call is a little mellow and softer than that of the brown barbet, and it goes kutur, kutur, kutur. So basically what I want to stress is just through calls you can identify which species of barbet you are seeing. This collection of bird calls is from Xenocanto, a website that has a huge collection of bird calls. The Calls are licensed Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial License. This presentation of mine, reusing Creative Commons license content, is licensed under a CC by 4 and it incorporates content from the Creative Commons certificate course for educators and librarians and from the CC website. Again, both of them are licensed CC by 4. The curated collection, titled Collections of Calls of Some Barbets from India, is licensed CC by NC. All the images are licensed to me by CC by 4. Thank you very much.